So next weekend, I'm heading to LA to celebrate a good friend of mine's birthday, and we'll be DJing a warehouse party. So I thought this might be a good time to kind of show you like how I prepare for DJ sets and whatnot. I'm definitely a producer first, and really just picked up DJing as a way to sort of play my music out in a live setting. So my thought process might be a little bit different than the tried and true DJs out there that have been doing it for a long time. Nonetheless, maybe you'll learn something here from my process, or you guys can let me know how you do things. I'm always down to learn new ways to do something. So as far as finding music, a lot of it's from like just listening to Spotify. Like I'll take a screenshot if I come across a track that I like. Listening to some of the radio shows that the other DJs and stuff put out. I might hear a track and then just take note to grab a copy later. I get most of my stuff from Beatport. I usually just throw tracks in they have like a holding bin. So I'll usually just kind of throw tracks in there, and then every once in a while they do sales. Like right now they have one. It's a winter sale. It's like the promo code, but they'll do like level 1, level 2, level 3, where you get so much of a discount when you buy a few tracks or whatever, and then a couple days later, they'll say level 2 is available, and it'll be even bigger discount, and then level 3, even more so. So what I'll typically do is just buy a couple tracks at level 1, buy a couple tracks at level 2, and then just buy the majority of them at the big level 3 discount. So yeah, grab the tracks through Beatport, with the promo codes, and then I use Beatport Pro, the app they have, so that you can just kind of download massive amounts of tracks all at once. Alright, so I'm on beatport.com now. I got a few tracks sitting in my hold bin. So they don't have any sales going on right now that I know of, so I'm just going to grab a couple tracks, maybe a couple of these like $1.49 ones, and move to cart, just so I can kind of show you guys. Alright, so then we'll go to main cart, and then let's see. This little Honey app sometimes finds coupon codes. Let's just see. Yeah, see, it tested winter sale, which has expired. So yeah, normally you'd put your promo code in here, and sometimes I just try the level 1 promo code, and it'll be active, and I wouldn't have gotten an email notification about it or anything, but normally they'll send you an email notification. So I'm just going to check out. I always click remember me, but for some reason it never remembers me. I don't know if anybody else has that problem. Alright, so edit this out. Alright, so yeah, you can see it says download all with the Beatport Pro for desktop. So I'm just going to open that up. And if we scroll down here to available, it's already selected. There we go. So then we can just click download all. Alright, so I just copied the files here. You could just leave the names, but I like to rename mine, so it's like a little hyphen or dash, where the between the artist name and the track name. So I just clean it up a little. Okay. So once I have all my new tracks downloaded from Beatport, I'll go into Mixed and Key and drag all of the files over in there, and then there's a setting you can set to where it'll automatically rename all your tracks to have the BPM and like the key assignment append it to the front of the file name. I'll just kind of show you how that works. Alright, so if you go to settings and then rename files, You can do automatically rename files after processing, and then I like to do this key tempo file renaming. So I'll show you here in just a second. So if we grab these 3 tracks, right, and then we drag them into mixed in key, it's going to automatically analyze them. Let's see, it says analyzing 3 songs down here. And then you're going to see it's going to automatically append the key and the BPM to the front of the file name. So yeah, 3A is the key assignment, 124 BPM, you know, and then here 7A 121, 10A 123. So I'm just going to drag these into my 120 to 124 BPM folder. And then I'm sorted by date modified, so you know they show up at the top. I try to always mix in key just because, you know, a lot of the music that I make and that I curate in my sets is very melodically driven, so you know, I don't want like key clashes and things happening when I'm mixing from track to track, so you know, I like to try to keep it, you know, in key if I can. Unless you're mixing a track where it's just kind of like drums happening and you're bringing in the like the bass or the melody of another track, then you can kind of throw in some key changes in there, but for the most part, you know, just try to mix in key. Alright, so once we got, you know, all the files labeled and everything from mixed in key, then I like to open Rekordbox and drag all the new tracks into Rekordbox and just kind of check to make sure everything is snapped to the grid correctly and maybe set a couple of cue points and stuff. So yeah, we'll look at Rekordbox here. Alright, it looks like my last import into Rekordbox was on 116, so I'm just going to grab down here to the 19th and drag these in. And Rekordbox is going to analyze all of these, you can see here. Alright, so we got our first track loaded in by double clicking on it. So let's just take a listen here. Okay, yeah, we can see that it, you know, the beat grid's pretty spot on. You can see that first hit has the little red arrow on it here, so we should be good there. I typically set up my cue points as A for like the intro, and then B for break. So maybe like sounds like a good spot. Okay, if you have this cue button clicked on, quantize, as long as you're like fairly close to the line when you hit the cue point, it should line it up. Like you don't have to hit it spot on if you have this quantize turned on. All right, so we have our intro and our break, and maybe C for climax. Let's just find out what we can set it to. Okay, we'll just set this one. You know, for a lot of the genres that I DJ, you know, a lot of it's just kind of mixing track to track. There's not really a whole lot of like cue jumping and whatnot, but you know, these are just kind of a just in case thing. Or if you're trying to like kind of run through, you know, tracks a little bit quicker maybe, instead of letting the entire thing, you know, draw out, you know, what you could do is with that C cue point is you could come in with that like somewhere in here, you know what I mean, to shorten up the track. So you could be like, and then jump here. That one didn't flow as good as some examples, but you know, you kind of get the idea. All right, so yeah, cue points are set, so we'll just go to the next track, and we're just going to rinse and repeat this until we have, you know, all these tracks set up. Then we can export them to our USBs. Yeah, so just to give you an example, this one's off the beat grid, so we can see, you know, here's a red arrow here, here's a red arrow here, but you'll notice that the beat comes in right here. Okay, so we need to go to grid mode, and we need to move the grid right there. Okay, so now we're spot on. Okay, looks like it's hitting good now, so. Alright, other than that, I'll just kind of run through a couple of them really quick so you can see how fast, you know, we can set cue points and everything, so. Okay. Alright, so now we got our cue point set and we're snapped to the grid and everything. So I have some existing playlists here that are sorted by key. There may be an easier way to do this, but basically I'll change it to sort it by name. And then we can grab each key. So here's all the 2A's, and then I can just throw those in my 2A playlist. And then if it says you have duplicates, you know, you can just skip them. And then just rinse and repeat for each. And then you have, you know, playlists set up for key, so you're mixing in key, and should be good to go. Alright, so I created a few playlists and folders, and now I'm going to plug my USB in. And we should see it show up right there, the G devices. Alright, so then I'm just going to right click my new playlists, or playlist folders, and then do export to that G drive. And then you'll see at the bottom here where it's exporting, you got a percentage here, and then I'm just going to do that for the other playlists. Alright, all done, so I'm just going to hit this little eject button right here, remove USB device, and I can take it out now. Alright, then we take our USB to the other room here, where I have my XDJ RX set up. This guy here. Alright, and we're just going to power everything on. Alright, and then get the vibe set up right.